Hi guys, this is Tom with the LEC preview of this week. It's the second week of the LEC Summer Split, and I'll be going over all the matches that are gonna be played. The weekend kicks off with Vitality and Rogue. Both teams obviously played very impressively during the opening weekend. Rogue went 3-0, even though not all of their opponents were especially strong. They won against Excel, they won against Schalke, and they won against Misfits. Now, I would have to say that Excel and Schalke are probably the bottom two teams in the LEC at the moment, but still, Rogue played pretty dominantly, they played coherently, and I think they were very strong overall. And finally, as I said during the preview last weekend, they managed to click. I think Rogue, when all things line up and all the players synergize, this is a very dominant squad and definitely a top 4 contender, and that finally seems to happen for them consistently. They play against Vitality, who I should not have to say, also surprised last weekend. They defeated G2. Obviously G2 wasn't in their shape, but we'll get to them later. I still think that Vitality, with their new roster, with Labrov in the bot lane as a support player, then Milica as the new mid laner and Yi as a jungler, has far more potential than the roster in the spring split. And I think in this match in particular, I'm looking really forward to seeing Milica against Larsen. I think those are two mid laners with a lot of potential to grow into real stars within League of Legends. So I'll be keeping an eye on those two. It's followed by Misfits versus SK Gaming. Now, Misfits did play dominant against Fnatic in their opening match, but through that match very memorably with that Baron fight. I still think that Misfits in their core showed a lot of strength, and I think that they did show as well that they have been trying out more strategies within the team, and I think that SK Gaming kind of have a tough fight ahead of them. Obviously, SK Gaming did very well. They beat Origin in their opening match, and they beat Schalke as well. They went 2-1 overall in the weekend, so that's definitely a step up for them as well, with now Genox in the top lane and Zazie in the mid lane. Still, I would have to give the edge to Misfits, I think, in terms of overall strength, especially when it comes to the bot lane, where Misfits has Kobe. Now, I think he outclasses Crownshot by quite a bit, and in the mid lane, Zazie did show a lot of potential. You know, it's someone who can grow into a good mid laner in the LEC. I still think Febvin there will be the better player. The third match is G2 versus Schalke 04. Now, I know that G2 didn't start off very strongly last weekend, but you have to keep in mind that that was due to personal reasons. Perks' father passing away did get in the way of the team getting scrims. They basically had no scrims at all last weekend, no time to prepare. And I think that now that that's out of the way, they can fully focus on this weekend. And I do expect them to, grind again, to be on full power. And Schalke 04, I don't know what that squad needs to fix its problems, but they looked very unimpressive, not playing like a team at all, not with a straight plan for the games they were playing. So I think G2 will win this handily. Then there's Origin versus XL Esports. I think XL has kind of the same problems that Schalke had last weekend. The team just doesn't seem to click, and it's not sure what the team needs to get to that level. I think maybe it's time, maybe it's just time that they need to gain their confidence and find their groove, But I still think Origin, even though Origin also looked very scrappy last weekend, I have to say, in terms of just pure individual skill, should be able to defeat XL. Then the final match is going to be Fnatic versus Mad Lions. The most interesting match of the day. I don't think I have to explain why. Fnatic very dominant in the opening week, 3-0 in the scores, and just looked very solid. I think even though there were some individual performances that didn't go well, Nemesis and Bwipo especially didn't seem to be on point yet. I think as a squad, as a whole, Fnatic showed a lot of resilience. And Mad Lions, while they lost their game against G2, I think it's very promising to see them try out more strategies. So I do expect this to be the clash, and I'm personally very interested in seeing Selfmade and Shadow, how they stack up against each other, because I think those are two very promising junglers in the LEC. Then on the second match, we have SK Gaming versus XL. Now, as I said earlier, I haven't been impressed at all by Excel's roster and Excel's performance, and SK Gaming is exactly the opposite. I think if you compare SK Gaming this split to last split, it's a completely different team in terms of coherence and in terms of game plan. So I do think that SK will defeat Excel here. They just seem to have everything, lined up. There's still some, polishing to do when it comes to their macro, and I think they should also be a bit more flexible when it comes to champions if they really want to contest for a playoff spot. But you cannot deny the growth this team has gone through, so I do think they will defeat Excel. Then there's Misfits versus Schalke and Alfeer. Again, Misfits did have a shaky start in terms of score in the opening week. They went 1-2. But still, if you look at how they played against Origin and how they played against Fnatic for the large part, I think this team is just a definite sub-top team in the LEC. And I expect them, as the season goes on, to perform more consistently and to step up their game, even more to close out those games that, they should win. And I don't think Schalke stands much of a chance against them. Then there's Vitality against Mad Lions as the third match of the day. Very exciting. Once again, Vitality overperforming, and I think this is kind of the story of the LEC so far, is that many teams are actually stepping up their game and showing a lot of potential. It's very close who will make it to the playoffs at the moment. Maybe this goes, maybe this settles as the LEC progresses in the summer split. But at the moment, I think many matches are very interesting because we've had such an unexpected and eventful opening weekend. So I do think Mad Lions will win this. I think in terms of team synergy, they are a few steps ahead of Vitality. So, but still a very interesting match to watch. But nothing compared to the final two matches of the day, I think. G2 versus Rogue. Now, Rogue, as said earlier, had a very strong opening weekend. Did play some of the weaker teams in the league. But still, I think that this team is finding their synergy. And you put them against G2, who are trying to prove themselves. I think this is going to be a clash and very heated match. So I expect a lot of exciting things to happen during this match. I would have to give the edge to G2 because I think, when the fire is ignited and they really want to play, they step up their game to levels that Rogue just cannot reach yet with their talent. I think that's something that will need to develop if they want to reach that at all. And maybe, I think that some of the players on Rogue just do not have the raw skill to match G2 in the lanes. If I look at the bot lane, I think Hansama and Fender are very skilled and do perform really well. They're not the ones holding Rogue back generally, but I do think that Perks and Mickey, for example, are just a step above them. And then there's Fnatic versus Origin. Now, Fnatic, obviously, again, dominant start to the weekend, and I think they will win against Origin. But if you look at the legacy of these teams, this should be a very hype match as well. Origin has, in terms of raw power, a lot of skill. You have Alfari in the top lane, Xerxes in the jungle, Nuke Dog in mid, and Upset and Destiny in the bot lane. Now, put this against Fnatic's Whippo, Selfmade, Nemesis, Reckless, and Hylissang, and you have Fire, right? I think Origin really needs to find decisiveness in their games in order to contest with Fnatic. If you look at the mic checks of the LEC, which they posted, you can hear a lot of indecisiveness, and it's really just painful to watch the squad with so much potential on it as Origin to be so uncoordinated. But still, if I expect them to have strict training this week to improve that, and if they find that, then their match against Fnatic is a real banger as well. That's it for the LEC preview of this week. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content.